president of Zambia Rupiah Banda has passed away at the age of 85. Banda served as president of Zambia from 2008 until 2011. We are now joined by Dr. Mumba, former vice president of Zambia and president of the movement for Multiparty democracy. Dr. Mumba, very good evening. Great to speak to you, sir. It is very, very sad circumstances under which we speak, and that obviously is the sad passing of former President Rupiah Banda.
Indeed, and thank you so much for having me.
I suppose the first question has got to be about what do we know about the death of the former vice president?
Well, thank you so much. The former president, Rupiah Banda, has been battling with cancer over the past number of years, or more precisely months. And he put up a very spirited fight for quite a long time. But unfortunately, tonight at around 19:30 hours, he succumbed to that cancer, and we lost him. So his death is directly associated to his condition of cancer.
And what can you tell us about having worked with the former president?
You know, former President Rupiah Banda represents a generation that knew nothing but building the nation we now call home. A close associate of our first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, worked together in the United National Independence Party. They were in the forefront of not only getting our independence as Zambia, but also in liberating Southern Africa, including South Africa. So this is one generation that had unique qualities of sacrificing everything they had and knew for their country and for their region. We are losing a generation of such high quality. Remember, it's just within 1 year that we lost our president, former president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And so these were a unique team. If just to say one or two things about President Rupiah Banda, is that these are people that started this political career when they were very young. President Rupiah Banda became ambassador to Egypt at the age of 27. He became the ambassador to Washington at the age of 30. In 1974, of course, he became the ambassador to the United Nations and then Foreign Affairs in 1975. So his life in public service is unparalleled, and we consider him to be one of the longest-serving diplomats and the top diplomat of our country. So Zambia has lost a major, major figure who has literally helped us shape the current Zambia that we have today.
Dr. Mumba, I can't help but ask what the processes are, or what the process should be, certainly, in terms of institutional memory, if you will, where individuals such as the late RB were so influential, involved in politics from a young age. What is the process of imparting their knowledge, if you will, to younger politicians, and certainly those that they've left behind?
Well, this is a generation that spent a lot of their lives not only leading by example, but they taught us, those that followed after them. I took over from him, the former ruling party movement for Multiparty democracy. You learn by observing their dedication. They tell you, and the late President Rupiah Banda was a very jovial man, a family man, a man that liked to talk about his life and the struggles and how Zambia became what it has become. And I must mention that at one time he was literally like the president of Namibia, one of the very first people, because he was the president of the UN Council on Namibia, and he acted as president while South Africa was being challenged in its legitimacy to have any authority over Namibia. So he has that history, but we all have learned from him. He was a man who shared his views and his values and the history that he experienced. So we stand here having benefited immensely, from those interactions that we had with him and the time that he spent with us to give us that information. And we can only hope that he truly and fully transmitted that institutional memory that he had into us and the other generations to follow.
One can only imagine that he's left a massive void in Zambia. Talk to us about that, please, Dr. Mumba.
I think that he leaves behind a story of a very knowledgeable president. A president, as I have already mentioned, he has worked in different spheres of life. So that made him an extremely intelligent president. He concentrated on the rebuilding of the economy of our country during his 3-year stint as president. And under his leadership, Zambia became one of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world. He was completely committed to wooing in investors in Zambia. And under his leadership, we saw a lot of investment that has brought tremendous prosperity, especially in the mining industry, to this country. So we will remember him as a builder of our economy, a man that made Zambia become an international country and respected internationally. So he will be missed greatly for putting the name of Zambia out there on the international map.
Well, it's been 11 years since he left office. During that time, was he still involved in politics?
Well, basically in Zambia, once you leave and you remain a responsibility of government, you tender in your resignation from politics. He did a lot of work in helping out in political setups and young politicians, and spent a lot of his time with his family. And he, like you have rightly put it, he was an institution within himself. So he was a place where people rushed to, to understand how to navigate politically. If you remember, maybe you don't, but just when we changed government a few months ago, when we changed government a few months ago, he's the one who brought the new president and the former president together to create some kind of transition where there was no need for violence or trying to do retribution. It was him that brought these two presidents together in his own house and assured them that they needed to work together in order to maintain the transition into the new government. So he will be remembered for such acts and work that brought Zambia together at a critical moment.
Certainly big shoes to fill, Dr. Mumba. What was it like taking over from him as leader of MMD?
Well, that was quite a challenge. As you can see, his CV is huge. Nobody could really fit into his shoes. But he was there for me at the beginning when I took over. President Rupiah Banda gave one of the most stirring speeches during the time that I was being inaugurated as the 4th president of our political party. And it was challenging to fit in his shoes, but by God's grace, we made it, and we're still here.
Dr. Newzroom Mumba, former Vice President of Zambia, we thank you for your time this evening, and we do mourn with you.